Hi, excuse me. Before we get started, I want to do a little self-promotion. I have a shop now where I sell my art on all kinds of things, art prints, clothes, home decor, etc. So I will have a link in the description box below, so feel free to check it out. I truly appreciate the support, so thank you. Hi everyone! So today I have something new that I wanted to show you and to try out, so yeah, let's do that. And look at that adorable kitty. So these are traditional Japanese Gansai Tambi paints by Kuretake, or maybe it's supposed to be pronounced Kuretake, but I'm just gonna stick to Kuretake to be on the safe side. And I have actually reviewed the Gansai Tambi paints on my channel before and I love them. But those sets are usually a little bigger. I mean, this isn't really something that you just put in your bag when you're traveling or when you're going outside to paint. But this one is a little portable version with 14 colors. So yeah, let's have a look at it. Oh. So we have these little plastic containers. It is a very thin, lightweight box, so I can imagine it being very easy to bring with you. So we have a little mixing palette, we have the paints, and we get a water brush, and also a mangaka fine liner 0.1 with a very fine nib. To be honest, water brushes isn't really my favorite thing to use, but it can be very handy to have in a portable set like this, because you fill the barrel with water and then you just push it to get the water out to the bristle tip. And then we have the paint itself, and these are the ones that are included in the set. It looks like you can actually remove the whole, you can actually remove the whole row of pans. So it looks like they are attached in a way so that they won't rattle around too much in the box when you're moving it. And then you can just slide it out and change the pan if you need to. Yeah, that is interesting. And something that I noticed is that it looks like the pans are only half filled, kind of. It is a little hollow, as you can see, like the paint has shrunken, you know what I mean. But what I also know is that the Gansai Tambi paints are very pigmented, so you don't really need a lot of paint to get a very pigmented color. So, but yeah, there we have them. So I guess the only thing that we have left to do now is to swatch them and then try to create some art using them. I tried to fill the water brush in my water glass, but that didn't really work. I'm gonna go and get some water. I'm just gonna squeeze it. Yes, it's working. I'm actually gonna spray them with a little bit of water to make them nice and soft. Basically just to activate them. So these Gansai Tambi paints, they can either be used with just a tiny amount of water and they will become almost like gouache, nice and thick and creamy. Oh, look at that. But then when adding more water, it will become more translucent, like watercolors. So I just want to mention that this set was actually sent to me by Kuretake to review, because it is a brand new product. I am not sponsored or anything. They just wanted me to review it, so that is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna share my honest opinion as usual. And Kuretake were also very kind to send me a huge box of their art supplies, which I will do a little unboxing of next week, so stay tuned for that. I will also have the links to where you can buy this set in the description box below, so feel free to check that out. So yeah, here we have them. Look at those pretty, vibrant, beautiful colors. What I really like about these paints is that they don't look chalky or anything. They are so smooth and nice. What I am a little surprised of is the gray color. I haven't really seen gray in watercolor that often. This beige one is also a little new to me, and there's only one green. I would actually prefer to have one darker green instead of this beige color or the gray one, but I do know that you can actually mix your own green, so I don't think that will be any problem. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a little playing around with the paints to see how they layer and stuff like that. So here I'm basically just playing around with the paints to see how the colors blends and interacts with each other. The Gansai Tambi paints, Gansai meaning vibrance and Tambi meaning aesthetic, I think, are often described as watercolors, but they aren't like traditional watercolors. As I mentioned, they are much thicker and more opaque, more like gouache. So since they got this gouache quality to them, they do actually layer lighter colors on top of darker, as you can see here, so you can't really do that with regular translucent watercolors. And they are also very easy to reactivate again and pick up the pigments, which could make them a little trickier to layer in some cases. I guess it depends on how much experience you have with watercolors, and they don't have any grainy texture or pigment particles in them. They are so very smooth, and if they dries in thicker layers, they get this kind of like shiny finish to them. I also wanted to see how these paints looked on black paper since they are more opaque. Sally was also very interested and she kept an eye on everything so that I didn't do anything wrong. And I also want to mention that the paper that I'm using is not really suited for wet medium, so the colors may not show up as well as on watercolor paper, so that is something to keep in mind. But the colors, they still showed up really well. This is nothing you could have done with regular translucent watercolors, especially the lighter colors. They really popped on this dark background. So yeah, here you have them with a little bit of cat hair. So yeah, let's make a little illustration with these paints. Since the weather here has been a little cooler lately, more rainy days and gray weather, it has really gotten me into the autumn vibes, and I also wanted to do something colorful, so therefore I'm drawing a pumpkin and also a kitty cat, of course, and I'm lining it all with a mangaka fine liner from the set, and I'm also using my own Kuretake mangaka flexible pen, which is like a semi-brush pen, and it makes a little thicker lines. I haven't used the Kuretake fine liners a lot, but I do love the flexible pen. It is great for bolder line work. The fine liner pen, it felt very nice too, even if it is a very fine point. It still felt very sturdy and durable. Also, I might mention that even if this is a portable set, and the best way to really try it out is to maybe take it out in field and work with it outside, or at least work with it somewhere else than my work desk as I'm doing right now. But as I said, it is cold and rainy outside. Anyway, let's talk about the coloring. I'm working with the paints more like watercolors, watering them down a lot because that is what I'm most used to and what I feel most comfortable with, and I'm doing like a wet on wet technique for the base layers, first adding water to the paper and then I add the paint and let them spread in the water. I like the irregular texture and the patterns that the paint creates in the water. I don't want the paint to look too flat, so I really like this technique. Then while I was waiting for the paint layers to dry, I made myself a little mini swatch card to keep in the palette, and I think that is something that could have been added to the set, a little card that you can fill in yourself and more easily see what the colors looks like. But yeah, it isn't really a big effort to make one yourself though. But I am really happy to have the Gansai Tambi paints in a smaller set. I love these paints, but what makes them a little difficult to use sometimes is the big boxes. You know, the green one that I showed you before, it is huge. So then having a smaller set, it is very practical, and I am overall very positive about this set. I had so much fun working with the paints, but I do actually have two things that I want to mention that maybe could count as more negative. First, there are no refill pans to buy yet, which basically means that if you run out of one color, you can't really replace it. But this is still a very new set, so I'm pretty sure there will be refills in the future, hopefully. And another thing that I want to mention, and this is only based on personal preferences and has nothing to do with the quality of the set really, but it is the color selection. When you have black and white in the same set, you don't really need gray as its own color, and I would maybe have switched the light beige one for a dark green color, but as I said, it is all about personal preferences and it all depends on what kinds of things that you like to paint. This is a very nice and bright set and it gives me a bit of a cartoony vibe, and I am more into earthy tones, I suppose. And as I've said a few times now, it is not a traditional watercolor set. It is opaque gouache-like paints that you can use a little differently from watercolors, and I'm honestly no expert with that kind of paint, so I can't really judge it too hard, but it is a different and very interesting color selection. It definitely stands out from the other sets that I have. But what is so awesome with watercolors is that you can actually mix your own colors as long as you have the base colors like red, yellow and blue, preferably in a few different tones, warmer tones and cooler tones like in this set. You can basically mix any colors that you like. Even if I could wish for some different colors in my set, I didn't have any trouble getting the colors that I actually wanted. I haven't painted with watercolors in a while, so it was a lot of fun just playing around with the paints and mixing them. So a quick little conclusion about this Kuretake Gansai Tambi Portable paint set. First, the paints themselves are amazing. As I've stated 100 times now, it is super vibrant paints and you can easily mix them and layer them. They are not grainy or chalky at all. They are versatile in the way that you can use them both as gouache and as watercolors, whatever you prefer. And they works on dark paper too, which is awesome. And they have a little bit of shine to them if they dry it in thicker layers. So that is something to keep in mind. And the set itself, it is very slim and portable, it is lightweight and it doesn't seem to take up a lot of space both in your bag and on your work desk. I also like that the pans are kind of locked in place so that they don't move around in the box. And it is very nice to get both a water brush and a fine liner with the set. I really hope though that refill pans will be available soon. But yeah, I had a lot of fun making this painting, and the cat and his snail friend, they turned out adorable, and the colors, they look so vibrant and amazing and gorgeous. Let me know what you think. And this piece will actually be available in my shop as prints if you're interested. Also, check out the links below if you think this Gansai Tambi set looks interesting and if you would like to try it out yourself. Thank you so much Kuretake for sending me this to try out, and thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I hope I will see you next time. Keep drawing my happy cats. Bye!